So one of the great joys in my life is watching a movie and then logging it on Letterboxd. Often I will watch anything just so I can log it on Letterboxd. It's a really bad way to like consume content solely so that I can like in a way share with people that I watched something. I'm trying to break that habit. But anyways, Letterboxd has a great feature which I guess has been around since it started where it'll like show you everything you watched this month in like the diary section, like what you rated stuff, and it's really great. And I've seen a lot of people do videos like these, and I've always really wanted to do one where you sort of like share everything you watched this month. So I would really like to do these. And today is September 30th when I'm recording this, and I'm probably not going to watch any movies tonight. So I thought I would sit down and share with you all today everything I watched in September 2023. So the first thing I watched this month was actually a rewatch, and I rewatched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with my boyfriend because he wanted to watch it. I know this is like a quote-unquote like classic like film Twitter user like well-loved movie. I personally do not think it's all it's hyped up to be, and also I'm not a Jim Carrey fan, so it really doesn't like do anything for me. I really just watched it because he wanted to watch it, and I don't know, I had seen it a couple times in different like film classes I've done, so I was like, whatever, and we watched it. Nothing revolutionary came from me rewatching it. I don't know, it's so ugh. That's like I'm sorry to those who like love it and stuff, but it does nothing for me at all. So my second watch of the month also was not like a triumph or anything. I had a movie night with my boyfriend's parents, and we watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and we all sort of went into it knowing it was going to be bad. But I thought maybe it was going to be the type of bad where you can laugh at it. That was not the case. It was just bad and long, and there was nothing really to laugh at. Sometimes with movies that like try to be super serious and stuff, you're able to find humor in them to like make fun of them. But yeah, it was long. There were a couple moments where I was like, that's kind of cool, but overall it was just like, that was a movie. They definitely set it up to become like a sequel or attempting to do a franchise thing, but I also know this movie went through development hell. After watching it, like, honestly, rightfully so. I feel like they could have done the concept of Dracula on a boat a whole lot better. I think it really could have worked as a horror comedy. So I would love to see a different take on this movie because I just can't I can't get behind it. I thought when it came out and people were like, "Oh, this movie's about Dracula on a boat," and they were sort of memeing it and stuff. I was behind it then, and I was like, I want to watch it for like the goofs and the laughs. And then there was none, and it was 2.5 hours long and really dark. This is a movie that needed a fucking flashlight on a character at all times. It is a very dark movie. Then we immediately followed that up at the movie night with Evil Dead Rise because we needed a palate cleanser that was going to be a good, absolute banger. It was my recommendation that we watch this, and everyone enjoyed it. It was great. Evil Dead Rise, love it. Did like a whole hour-long podcast talking about it on Hail to the Deadites, so you can check out like my full thoughts there. But this movie is a banger, and I love it. So a few days after that, I watched a movie that I have been trying to watch since it came out, but have failed every single time I tried to watch it, except now I've actually watched it and stuff. It was Malignant. I've been a big Saw fan the past few months, and I had heard really good things about when this came out, and like, I don't know, I enjoy James Wan's movies and stuff, and it seemed really cool, but I just never got around to watching it in theaters or even when it came out sort of on digital. But I sat down one night and I folded laundry and I watched it, and unpopular opinion, I liked it. However, it did not do what I thought it was going to do. You know, I've seen people saying the scene with Gabriel in the police station was like this groundbreaking scene and it's like great and stuff. I just sort of felt like it was a cool movie and they did some cool stuff, but overall it just was kind of to me, which sucks because I was so excited to watch it and it's been like hyped up to me and I really meant to like sit down and give it a proper watch through, but it just sort of fell flat for me, which sucks. I also thought the ending was a little bit like Hallmarky corny type of, where it's like, no matter if we're blood or not, like we will always be sisters and stuff. I would probably watch it again. It's not like it fell so flat I don't even want to see it again. I would definitely watch it again, and I would love if there was a sequel to it. I'd love to see what would be done. Yeah, Malignant. I don't want to say it's overhyped, but it just didn't land the same way it did for me as it did for other people. So after that, I watched probably my most anticipated non-horror film of 2023, which was Bottoms. My best friend came over and we watched Bottoms. We loved it. I really want to watch it again. It's out on digital now, so I will 100% watch it again. I want this movie to be like this generation's like Mean Girls or Legally Blonde, or just like that, not a chick flick or like a rom-com, but just one of those like classic movies where like, oh my god, it's been like almost 20 years since Mean Girls came out. We're like 10 years from now, like teenage girls are like having slumber parties or whatever, and instead of putting in like Mean Girls or Bring It On or something like that, they put Bottoms on. Because I think it really works and is really, really, really good. I love everything Emma Segelman's directed so far, and I love Rachel Sennett and Io Adibri. So this was just like a banger overall. Like before I had even hit play, I knew it was going to be good and I knew I would enjoy it. And I did. I enjoyed it so much and it was so funny. And I cannot wait to rewatch it constantly. It's amazing. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. So after that, I did another little rewatch leading up to Saw X. I wanted my boyfriend to see like sort of the first 3 Saw movies, so that he would sort of have an idea of what's going on. He watched like 4, 5, and 6 with me. I don't think he saw 7 with me, and then I still haven't seen Jigsaw or Spiral. But I wanted him to see the first 3 at least, so he would sort of know what was going on in Saw X. That was like more knowledge than what you just get through the flashbacks in the latter half of the franchise. So anyways, we watched this. Saw 2 is so good. It's so good. It's the original Saw is always going to be my favorite Saw movie, but I feel like Saw 2 is such like a step up in everything, and it's so good, and it's, oh god, it's so great. It's so good. They do twists so well in it. Like, just Saw 2, and Saw 3 will always be my top 3 Saw movies, because they just do that storyline so perfectly, and it's so great. But yeah, Saw 2 rewatch in preparation for Saw X was much needed. After that, the day that Theater Camp released on Disney Plus for us Canadians, I sat down and watched it. I was just like, there's a thing where movies come out on streaming, and I know that they'll be on there like for an extended period of time, where I feel no urgency to sit down and watch them, because I can watch them at any time, because that's the whole perk of streaming. It's available whenever you want and stuff. But I feel like when that happens, I never actually get around to watching the movies until much later, or the streaming service is like, hey, we're taking down this movie in a week. So the day that Theater Camp came out, I sat my white ass down and watched, and it was so good. It was literally from start to finish so fucking good. It is hilarious and like almost campy in a sense. I mean, it is a camp movie, but campy in like the over the top sense. It's so good. I know that they did like a short film years and years ago that like led to this feature length thing, and I still haven't watched that yet. It's on my list, but I don't think you need to watch the short film version as like a predecessor or like a prequel to this at all. Theater Camp was so good, and I would highly recommend it. So after that, I watched another movie that has been on streaming services for a while, but I just kept putting it off to like watch it and stuff, which I don't understand why, because it sort of feels like it's always been really up my alley, but I just never got around to watching it. But anyways, I just sat down one night and I was like, I'm gonna watch this and then I'm gonna go to bed. And I did that, and the movie was Ginger Snaps. This has been recommended to me since I got into horror. This is a movie I myself have wanted to watch since I got into horror, because it's like a teenage girl horror movie, and that's my favorite type of horror movie. There's no way of saying this that doesn't sound mean, but it looks like a TV movie, but I still really enjoyed it, and I think it adds a lot to it. It was also a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I thought Ginger was sort of going to be the main focus of the movie, like the main character, but it actually was like Bridget was the main character for the majority of it, and it was her story of saving her sister. But just from like edits I had seen and like, I don't know whose people's profile picture on like Twitter and Tumblr and stuff, it's always Ginger. So I honestly thought she was more of a focus in the movie, but it's actually Bridget, which was cool. I really enjoyed this. There were times where I was like a little about it, but you know what? It was a fun thing to watch. I want to watch the rest of the franchise. I think they made 4 of them, and I think they kept the same cast, which is really cool. So that's definitely going to be on my Halloween watch list. But yeah, Ginger Snaps it was fun to watch. I just needed a fun movie to watch that night. I just needed a movie to sit down and enjoy, and I enjoyed this. So after that, I had another movie night with my boyfriend, and he decided that we should watch Her, the Spike Jonze film. And much like Eternal Sunshine, this is one of the movies where, like, film Twitter praises it and heralds it as, like, a great movie and, like, beautiful cinematography and stuff like that. It never really interested me, and I also don't like Joaquin Phoenix. I don't like him as an actor. Nothing personal against him. I just do not like to watch him in movies. So I was not super enthusiastic about watching this movie, but it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't rewatch it. It was just sort of like I knew what was gonna happen. Like that's the plot of any sort of like artificial intelligence romance type movie. It's like things are great and then the robots learn too much and they're like, we're gonna fuck off and make a better world, bye. Like, I know that this movie is very aesthetically pleasing to some, but it almost felt like too much so to me, where it's like I feel like I can't properly watch this movie because the production design and the costuming and everything like that, it all looks like too perfect and overthought almost. And maybe that was the point, because it's sort of like a futuristic movie and stuff. And so maybe like in this future, everyone dresses really aesthetically pleasing and everything is really nice to look at. But honestly, it didn't do anything for me. It was like, cool, that was a movie. Which, I don't know, happens a lot when I'm not super excited about having to watch a movie. It just more so becomes, can we finish watching this, please? It was also a little bit too long. So after that, I had an online pass for the Atlantic International Film Festival in Halifax. I had kind of wanted to go up in person this year, but I never had the foresight to plan so. So I ended up just having to watch what they had on the like streaming side of it, which was a lot of shorts. I didn't get to watch any of the features that they had. I heard they were good, but just sort of the time I had allotted to watch a lot of this stuff, I could only take in like maybe half the shorts that they had up there. But yeah, the next few entries are all stuff I watched at the Atlantic Film Festival. The one I was most excited to see was the Score 97.9. Yeah, the synopsis of it is a local radio DJ is haunted by mysterious forces through her radio. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to look at. It was fun to watch. I mean, it was like kind of the only horror type short thing that was in this shorts program, so I was super excited to watch it anyways. And even the photo that they had used sort of like in the thing also looked really awesome. So super glad I watched this. Would love to see a longer version. I would love to know some more stuff. But if you ever come across this at a film festival, I would highly recommend watching it. So after that, I watched another short called Wolf. It's a short narrative film that explores the feelings of isolation and new motherhood. It follows a new mother, Kate, desperately trying to survive the early months of breastfeeding and finding her parenting feet while also being a friend, partner, a daughter, and ultimately a new version of herself. I know it's not meant to be horror, but it was terrifying to watch this woman like lose herself and ultimately just become like a vessel for caring for this baby. And like losing sight of all of like her personal relationships and stuff and like forgoing everything that she needs and stuff. Oh my god, it was like, I don't know if harrowing is the right word, but it was like, it scared me even more about being a woman, like in a weird way. Just the way it was portrayed in this and like motherhood and stuff. It was just like, not doing that. Not doing that. Like, I feel like I can't put into words what it's like to watch this, So if you come across it, I would highly recommend giving it a watch. So sort of as a happy little palate cleanser after that. Not that every movie that's sort of darker in theme needs a palate cleanser immediately, but I had sort of picked a couple to watch sort of back to back, and the next one just happened to be this like cute little animation called Starry Eyed. And it's like, it's sort of, I guess, like the animated version of like that thing like Starlight, Starbright, First Star I See Tonight, I Wish I May, I Wish I Might Have the Wish I Wish Tonight. It was animated and written by Emma McCobb. It is so cute. I cannot wait till this is online somewhere where I can watch it over and over again. I feel like it would be so cute for kids to watch or something like that, or like in elementary school you do a little story prompt based on it. I don't know, it was just so cute and so well done, and made me very happy after watching it. So after that, I watched another short called Entree. The synopsis for this is two immigrant women from India put their own spin on a Thanksgiving dinner while navigating the pressures of tradition. It was good, but I don't know. I personally found it hard to relate to because I am not someone that immigrated to the place I live. I was born here. So I feel like this would definitely be something for, like, I don't know, people like that have immigrated from like Europe or India or just different places where there's sort of a big culture change or like new holidays that people celebrate and stuff to watch. It was very good. Like, everything about it was good. But I just felt like I couldn't really, not sympathize, but I just like couldn't. I've never gone somewhere and had to celebrate a different holiday that has different traditions and stuff and like try to blend in with a group of people that have been celebrating this holiday their whole lives. But anyways, Entree was very good. Highly recommend you watch it. My last short that I watched that day was called The Gaze. So this is sort of a documentary short. It's about Ginok Song, who is a South Korean artist living and painting in a small fishing village in Newfoundland. And through this, she sort of explores what home is, who she was, and where she is now. It's really, really, really cool. And it has a really interesting way of combining, like, obviously the stuff that's on film also with her like paintings and stuff, and I think it's done super, super, super well and is like really beautiful to watch. I don't want to give too much of it away because it is a lot, like it is a personal thing that the artist is talking about, so I feel like I would just say go watch it if you can find it on. I don't know if these shorts are playing at other festivals anytime soon, but if you come across it, you should definitely watch it. So we took a break from shorts at that point, and me and my boyfriend watched Saw 3, because even though the new Saw movie takes place in between 1 and 2, there's a lot of flashback things in Saw 3 that I thought were important to see to sort of help show John and Amanda's relationship as, like, not business partners, frat partners, or I guess, like, sort of like teacher and student. Anyways, so we watched Saw 3. I love Saw 3. It's good. And my boyfriend enjoyed it too. So, Saw 3, woohoo! It was good. So the next day I watched my final 2 shorts of the Atlantic International Film Festival. I watched one called Father Archie, which is directed by Todd Frazier. The synopsis is the filmmaker's grandfather narrates a tale of old Father Archie set to decomposing 16mm of the local parish in this archaeological work from experimental post-memory of Todd Frazier. This was really good and really cool to watch. Flash warning. Lots of flashing lights and imagery in this. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me though, so I was able to watch it. I think this also played at my local drive-in like the week before for like an arts festival, but I didn't get out to see it there, but it would have been cool to see on a super big screen. It's not really narrative. It's more like an experimental thing, so I can't really explain it, but if you come across it, I would recommend watching it. And then my final short that I watched at the Atlantic Film Festival was one called Mickey. It was directed by Stevie Hunter. The synopsis is, when their situationship looks like it's about to come to a conclusion, the usually reserved Mickey decides to be vulnerable for a change. This definitely felt like it's a short that would get turned into a feature later, just the way it was all done and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's only 5 minutes long, so there's a lot that happens, but at the same time, there's not a lot that happens. So it's hard to go into detail without giving the plot away. But I think it was really well done. Sort of the only thing that I didn't like about it is that it showed like an Atlantic Canadian street in the winter. And then it reminded me that winter is going to be in a few months and I'm going to have to walk through dirty snow beside roads and it's going to be all brown and gross. And I am not looking forward to that. And this this short film just reminded me that winter is soon and it'll be like that for 4 months. So that's the only thing I didn't enjoy about this. But otherwise, it was really, really good. Can you guess what movie I saw? I saw Saw X, and I got the cup. I wanted the Billy the Puppet popcorn head bucket thing so badly, but they didn't have it. They just had the cup. I mean, I'm in Canada, so it's going to say the French title on one side and the English title on the other side. But it came with this little Billy the Puppet thing, and you press this button, and he falls over, and then you press it, and he stands back up. We had to buy 2, because my boyfriend played too roughly with the first one in the theater, and it literally combusted. He literally broke into pieces. Then we were on the theater floor trying to find the rest of the pieces, and then I bought a little fake coffin thing at Michael's to build him a resting place that we can put up on our mantle for the little destroyed pieces of it. But then after the movie, we went up to the concession stand and bought another one, and we're very gentle with him and nice to him. And we watched a few movies last night, and we put him on the couch between us to watch the movies with. But yeah, Saw X. I was so excited for this because the marketing for the movie has been so genius with the strikes going on, so they can't use like the actors and stuff. So they were literally using Billy the Puppet for like the majority of the marketing. And I enjoyed it. And I think they could only do so much because the movie takes place in between 2 movies. So obviously they can't retcon stuff that's already happened. They can only sort of add in stuff that can't really change the plot of anything. And I enjoyed it. However, I felt like there was nothing really shocking that happened, and I expected to be like shocked and reveled by this. But that just didn't really happen, which is okay. The same thing happened with me earlier this year with Scream 6, simply because as a horror content creator, I cover the marketing and like lead up to these films very heavily and make content about it. So I think I overexcite myself for films more so than I'm meant to. Simply because they become such a big part of my life leading up to it, because I want to like cover the trailers when they come out and share the posters and stuff like that. So it ends up becoming a bigger thing than I actually is, and I think that's why it just didn't land the way I wanted it to land. But I enjoyed it. Spoilers ahead. The fucking bone marrow trap with Valentina cutting her leg off and then sticking that rod thing into her femur bone. Like, oh, it's so gross, and I physically feel like the cringe and uncomfortableness from it, and it makes like my teeth hurt when I think about it, which is so weird. But I'm so glad they were able to get a trap in like that is still like making me wince even after seeing it. So yeah, I think it definitely, especially the post-credit scene, it definitely left a door open for maybe a sequel in between 2 and 3. I feel like that's sort of what they can do next before having to either continue the franchise or do more stuff like Spiral and just have stories like in the universe of Saw without having any of the characters from the franchise show up in it. I mean, I will continue to go see them. It was cool. I'm really glad I have gotten to see all the Saw movies in the past year, because I feel like I shied away from them a lot before I got into horror. I just knew them as like gross torture porn movies. But yeah, to conclude the Saw X review, it was very good, but I think I overhyped it up to myself, so I wasn't as satisfied leaving as I thought I was going to be. So then my last 2 films that I watched this month were just last night. We watched Saw 0.5, which is sort of like the proof of concept thing that James Wan and Leigh Whannell made to get some funding for Saw, in the same vein as Within the Woods and Evil Dead, where it's basically the reverse bear trap scene, but Leigh Whannell plays a character named David. Obviously, instead of the original Saw having like Amanda do that scene. But yeah, I think it's really good, especially the fact that they probably had no budget to do the proof of concept with. I thought it was very good, and I love Billy's little hat. I wish he had kept it because it was funny. And yeah, I would recommend you go watch this if you're a Saw fan and you haven't seen it, because it's fun. And then after that, we watched the original Saw. It was the first time my boyfriend had seen it in full. He had just sort of caught bits and parts of it of like me watching it when I'm like cooking supper or whatever. And he had so many questions that I did not know the answer to. And I was so tired after it because I was sleepy. And there were so many questions I didn't know the answer to, but it did sort of open up not a lot of like plot holes or whatever, but just like, I wonder why that was never brought up again and stuff like that. But the original Saw is my favorite Saw, so obviously I was happy watching it and excited to watch it because it's good and it's funny, and I love the Saw movies. So that was everything that I watched this month. Obviously, not counting TV shows and stuff. I've been watching The Great on Amazon Prime, and I absolutely love it. Obviously, I watched And Just Like That. I think that was more in August, though. But that was horrible, but I still loved it. If you happen to catch any of these, let me know which one was your favorite to watch, or something that I watched that you haven't watched that you really want to watch. And we'll have a great little discussion about movies. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back soon with another deep dive video. I have one that I've been working on for over a month, which is why these videos have been so spaced apart, that will be hopefully coming within the next week. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.